Doesn't even mind entering the ring first, while Tua is the marquee name. Nicholson's ranked higher and comes in second. Tua got his wake-up call against Lennox Lewis, entered to a chorus of Samoan drummers. He exited to a chorus of boos. In his words, he underestimated Lewis, couldn't get inside and hurt him, and didn't have a plan B. His manager, Kevin Barry, brought in Joe Goosen after 7+ years with Ronnie Shields. Goosen stripped Tua down, started again. He put Tua, as he phrased it, through hell. Bobby, well, one thing baffles me is Tua does some last-minute praying. How can you underestimate Lennox Lewis?
You know, Steve, I believe he probably chose the wrong words when he said he underestimated Lewis. I think more appropriately, he miscalculated much of Lewis's abilities. His timing, his speed, and of course his power, as well as his difficult nature to hit a man that tall, that cleanly. And having no backup plan, he was in real bad place, sort of a boat out in the ocean with no paddles. And it turned out to be a long, horrible night for him.
Well, Nicholson is no Lennox Lewis, but some feel anything short of an explosive performance by this man will be insufficient. Even though Danell Nicholson is number 3 to Tua's number 5, he's a 9-1 underdog. He feels he's underrated, overlooked, and deserves more respect and recognition. He can change all that tonight. Unbeaten since '96, 15 consecutive wins, 12 by knockout, but questionable opposition. His last 5 have ended inside 2 rounds. He's a member of the '92 U.S. Olympic team, won his first 2 in Barcelona, and lost by close decision to legendary Cuban Felix Savon. Former high school basketball star, had scholarship offers, but went to prison for 4 years for armed robbery. That's where he learned to box. Bobby, the book on Nicholson, good overall skills, but he's been inconsistent, doesn't always fight his fight, which is a fast-paced, work the jab from long range, box and move. Also, he too has a suspect chin.
Well, Steve, his chin is suspect. I guarantee you it's going to be tested tonight and as early as often as possible. David Tua has something to prove. And also, Nicholson is going to need to be consistent all night long, because Tua is always dangerous. He's on a mission. He's sort of a reinvented fighter, and in the meetings, he was almost reinvented humble. And I think that Danell Nicholson has to go out there and stay sharp.
All right, Bobby, let's size them up as we check out the tail of the tape. David Tua at 28, 5 years younger than Nicholson. But Tua gives away 6.5 inches in height and 11 inches in reach. At yesterday's weigh-in, Tua 247, outweighed Nicholson by 24 pounds. While the weight is high, Tua says he dropped 9% body fat. Key rules: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt occurs before the end of the 4th, it's a no contest. After the end of the 4th, they go to the scorecards. So here at Texas Station, we are getting ready for our main event. David Tua versus Danell Nicholson. Let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to the Texas Station Gambling Hall and Hotel in North Las Vegas, Nevada, for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by America Presents in association with Cedric Kushner Promotions, along with Showtime Championship Boxing, Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers, and Station Casinos, the leading entertainment company in Las Vegas. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, the president, Hiawatha Knight, supervisor Darrell Peoples, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. Elias Ghanem, commissioners Amy Ayub, Glenn Carano, Dr. Flip Pomansky, and Dr. Luther Mack. The executive director, Mark Ratner. Our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside, all of them from Las Vegas, Nevada: Carol Castellano, Dwayne Ford, and Art Lurie. And the 3rd man of the ring, our referee in charge of this bout, Joe Cortez. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening, an IBF elimination heavyweight attraction, scheduled 12 rounds of boxing. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Texas Station, it's showtime. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing red trunks with white trim and fighting out of South Auckland, New Zealand. He weighed in at 247 pounds with a record of 37 wins, 2 losses. He has 32 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the hard-hitting IBF number 5 ranked heavyweight in the world, known as the Tua Man, introducing David Tua. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner in this 12-round attraction, wearing white trunks with blue lettering, fighting out of it representing Chicago, Illinois. He weighed in at 223 pounds. His record stands at 39 wins, 3 losses, with 30 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the IBF number 3 heavyweight contender, introducing Danell, Doc Nicholson. Once again, Joe Cortez, our referee in charge.
All right, gentlemen, we run all the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all time. Guys, these trunks here, they're a little high. Punches here, they're good here. Right here, these are a little high. Okay, guys, give me a clean fight. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch him up.
Although David Tua weighs 2 pounds more than he did for Lennox Lewis at 247, he does look more cut and chiseled tonight for Danell Nicholson, and no secret to his style. Likes to start fast, heavy-handed, with the aggressive hooking, swarming style. Big left hook, good chin. The big imposing Nicholson, not a one-punch KO guy. He's a boxer mover, very athletic. Big right hand, but a tendency to throw it wide, riding a string of 5 straight second-round knockouts. Let's see how David Tua starts the fight here. Nicholson up on his toes, Tua more flat-footed, just searching Nicholson out.
You know, Steve, every time I used to fight, the first round, always a huge round for me. There were a few things that I always wanted to find out immediately. Just how hard my opponent could punch, just how well he could take my punches, and his speed. Gauging his speed to me was always key. And I think for a guy this short, fighting a guy this tall, he's going to have to do that too. He's going to have to gauge speed right away. Very important.
And although he couldn't against Lewis, Tua likes to apply pressure and not step back. As you can see here, he has the one-punch KO power, but as he found out, can't always rely on that if things aren't going his way.
Well, Danell Nicholson is moving that much. As long as Danell's moving that much, he cannot be that powerful. He cannot land big bombs. It's going to be more of a tap, tap here, pat, pat there, get the punches in, get out, hit and not be hit, but it's not going to be any power shots.
Nicholson should be highly motivated for this one, but can he stand up to the extreme power that Tua has exhibited in the past? So far, Tua has been very quiet. Now he lets fly with a couple of jabs. Nicholson stopped twice in his career by Andrew Galata and Jeremy Williams. His other loss by decision to Kirk Johnson. A diving left hook by David Tua.
Tua talked about he didn't make any major changes as far as his style, but he went back to basics, doing what he used to do better. And I think one of the things he really does need to do, quite honestly, is lose some of that weight, increase his speed a little bit, because part of the reason he was so effective, especially in the Ruiz fight, the speed with which he let those bombs fly.
Quite frankly, I was a bit surprised to see him at 247. He told us in the fighter meetings yesterday he'd be in the 230s.
But it's a much better looking 247, if there's any consolation. I also spoke about the fact that with his body shape the way it was, if he was training well, something had to be wrong with his diet, and he told me in the fighter meetings that his diet indeed was bad.
For the most part here in the first round, Nicholson's quickness and boxing style making Tua miss. Tua's goals are to get respect back from the boxing community and win back the confidence of the fans. We approach the final 30 seconds of round 1. And David Tua already beginning to hear some of the boos.
Nicholson's not being incredibly effective, but just effective, throwing a few punches. He's winning the round. Tua's not really doing much of anything, and he needs to work in behind the jab. He can't just jump in. Men like Lewis, men like Danell Nicholson, they're too big to jump and hit from long distance when they're that short, that squat. They don't have good speed.
As of yet, Tua unable to catch
Bring out.
Nicholson.
Get back.
Here's a couple things that are going to help you out. Let me have a towel and some water. Here's a couple things that are going to help you out. Start sliding over to your right. Okay? Which way does he want to turn out? He wants to turn out that way. You got to stop him. You got to force him. You got to force him to go to his right more. I need you putting on the pressure. Once you come in, slide over here a little bit more. You notice that left hand is down real low. Do you not? Try to go over it after a couple of jabs.
Chin down. This is what I'm saying. Chin down and keep the jab going. I want more jab. Double and triple the jab. And keep on turning him. Keep on making him turn. No code. Keep on making him turn. I want him in the middle of the ring, Doc. Understand what I'm saying? Drop the quick right hand and spin out of there. But keep the jab going. That's what I want. You see how easy it is? This ain't nothing, baby.
Slide over to your right a little bit.
Very calm, direct instructions from Tua's brand new trainer, Joe Gushin, and Eddie Mustafa Muhammad in the corner and in the face of Danell Nicholson. And he told Nicholson what Frezzo Kendo did very well in that first fight. He kept ATN in the middle of the ring and was able to score knockdowns. Nicholson getting the same advice from Muhammad.
And Gushin was pretty smart too, telling Tua he got to slide to the right, make Nicholson go to his right, because he's not nearly as effective going to the right as he is going to the left with that jab. But either way, he's got to throw punches, Steve. He's just not firing.
So far, a fairly listless David Tua. Being very cautious and selective. Has hardly thrown any punches. Misses with that right hand. Nicholson with a right cross that scored to the chin.
See, so far Nicholson's been pretty effective setting the range. See how much distance he can keep between him. Tua can't reach. There you see it. He's jabbing, missing. Danell Nicholson can hit him.
Tua looking to return to #1 of the IBF, but according to IBF Championship Committee Chairman Joe Dwyer, does not automatically become the mandatory challenger for the title.
Big right hand that partially landed on the glove, partially got a piece of the shoulder and the head of Danell, and Tua's not throwing enough punches, not working, not making Danell get tired, not forcing him into a slugfest.
Bobby, this is the round in which Nicholson has won his last 5 by knockout. Well, maybe Tua saw what happened in the first fight to ATN, who had a similar style to the pre-Lewis Tua. Tua just tapping to the midsection of Nicholson. Nothing effective there. Nicholson throwing the jab. Tua missing with the left hook. Pitter pats to the stomach. Overhand right, nicely done. There's a good left jab by Tua that snapped Nicholson's head back.
Tua really just isn't being busy enough, Steve. And one of the reasons he was always effective is because when he came to you, he was punching. Fight with Ibiabuchi, I know I talk about it a lot, but the amount of punches thrown were amazing. And I don't know what he's thinking or what he thinks of Danell Nicholson. Now he's starting to work.
Break out clean. Step back.
Final seconds of round 2, and the lackluster display by Tua continues.
Stop. Let him out. Let's go.
There's a good smacking right just before the bell by Tua, his best punch. Well, let's go to Jim Gray with talented Olympians from the class of 2000. Jeff Lacey, Francisco Panchito Bajado.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. I'm joined by these two, along with Rocky Juarez, Malik Scott, and Juan Diaz. They represent some of the future of boxing. They'll all be fighting here on Showtime. Let's turn to Jeff first. You're 2-0. Are you concerned at all that you might be being rushed along a little bit too quickly, young in your career?
No, I don't think I'm being rushed along. Long as we get, some good, stiff opponents in there, I'm going to continue to do what I'm going to do. I train hard all the time. I train up in Big Bear with my coach, Roger Bloodworth. So I'm ready for anything comes near me.
And how about you? Let me ask you about the pressure that you might feel trying to live up to the expectations after coming off the Olympics.
Well, it was pretty tough first, trying to come up from a loss. So it was just basically trying to get back on the horse, and it just felt great having that first win and all the attention that I've been getting from not having a medal. So that also gives you all kinds of pressure. So I'm just going to keep training hard so I could do my best on each fight.
Best of luck to you, Pincito. Only 17 years old. He's got a long ways to go. Steve, back to you.
Thank you, Jim. We'll be seeing those guys down the road here on Showtime. As we enter round number 3 in the first 2, Nicholson has stuck nicely to his game plan and his keys to victory, setting the distance and boxing from the outside.
So even when he uses a jab like that and he doesn't land, he keeps Tua at the end of that jab. That's the distance that Tua cannot reach him. He can only be the one landing.
There's the jab by Nicholson. Tua ended the last round, the second round, nicely.
Oh, stop.
With his best punch of the night.
Watch your heads inside, guys. Let's go.
But goes back to the sluggish approach here in round 3. I am surprised. I thought the Tua would come out and try to make a statement here tonight, Bobby.
You know, I always joke about it, and it's one of my favorite things to say, but Hell Hefner Fury, like, whatever, and the fighter was something to prove, okay? He's not proving anything. He's just doing exactly what he did in Lewis' fight, walking forward, and nothing. Just there's no punches. Once in a while he loads up with a big bomb, but that's not going to win fights. It's not even going to win the round.
Missing wildly with that right as Nicholson just ducked underneath it.
Come here, Hank.
It was telegraphed.
What you got? Come here.
Nicholson claiming Tua throwing the elbow.
Good clean fight, guy. No rough tackles. You understand? Let's go.
Tua, I believe, frustrated right now, and he's using the elbows and forearms. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad says Tua's a one-dimensional fighter with the left hook. Hey, if you stand in front of him, he'll knock your brains out. But Nicholson's not doing that.
He's standing anywhere but in front of him.
Here comes Tua. Opening up 2 punches. But nothing after that.
Well, that was largely due to the fact that Danell held on pretty tight.
Tua missing with that overhand right.
But he's starting to make the fight a little better. He's starting to make...
Getting a little busier.
Yeah, he's starting to make Danell fear for his life a little bit in the corners, make him fight back.
Making Nicholson think a little now. As he backs Nicholson into the ropes, that's not where Danell wants to be. As he flicks the jab out and extricates himself from danger. Beautiful jab work by Nicholson. And movement around the ring. Digging punches to the body by Tua. Big left hand by Tua to the body, and Nicholson holds on.
You know, Tua's been walking around and chasing Nicholson a little too much, not cutting off enough of the ring, stepping out and banging, stepping out and banging.